Our authors have a reason for writing. Our authors don't write because they feel like it, okay? They don't write because they just are like, oh, I want to write a story today, right? They don't write because they just feel like it. They write for a reason. So it's really, really important that we as readers find that reason, right? Just like I told you, when we're writing and we're the authors, we have a reason for writing. And just like how we have a reason for writing, our authors have a reason for writing, and we as readers are in charge of finding that reason, okay? So if you remember, I think we talked about this a little bit at the very beginning. We kind of have three big reasons, okay? We have three big reasons our authors, that our authors write, okay? So, Aiden, now you can tell me one of them. What's one of them?
So, one of them is entertainment.
Is entertain. So our E stands for entertain, right?
Yeah.
Our authors entertain. Ollie, can you give me another one?
I is inform.
I is inform. And then does someone remember the P? Does someone remember the P? Emily, do you remember the P?
Persuade.
Persuade. Persuade. Okay, so if you remember, okay, when we're talking about author's purpose, persuade, okay, persuade means to convince. It means to get you to do something. So when you're looking at author's purpose and you're looking at persuade, more than likely this is going to be some kind of advertisement. It might be like if you see a billboard or like a TV commercial, or if I'm trying to convince you to, like with all the elections and stuff, vote for somebody. Or what else could it be, Emily?
I'm just saying this, like if it's on a show that doesn't, if one of these, if like a TV commercial or something doesn't sponsor them, they can't mention it on the TV.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be sponsored.
Yeah. So that for persuade, most of your examples are going to be ads, right? It's because persuade is trying to convince you to do something. You though could have an article that is trying to convince you. Okay, you could read an article that is trying to convince you to do something. Like there are articles about like losing weight or eating healthy or doing that kind of stuff. And those articles are trying to convince you to eat healthy or to lose weight, right? So you may find an article like that. Article that convinces you to do something, okay? And I'm just giving you some generic little examples, okay? All right, what about inform? So what is the thing inform is teaching you facts, right? Inform is facts. Inform is giving you facts. It's telling you this is a fact. This is a fact. So Aiden, where are we going to find facts?
In nonfiction books.
We are mostly going to find facts in nonfiction. So the other way to say nonfiction, because there's another way to say nonfiction, is to say informational, okay? So when someone's giving you informational text, when an author's writing that, they're informing you, right? It's in the word. So if you see this, because it may come up on a test or something, and it says informational text, you're going to know, well, you know what? I already know my author's trying to inform me of something because it's in the word, informational. So you're going to mostly look for facts. Inform, Facts. Inform and facts go together. If it has facts in it, then it is informing you of something. All right. What about entertain? What about entertain? So entertain is trying to entertain you, trying to tell you a story, right? Or you could say, keep your attention. Make sure you're muted. Tell you a story or keep your attention. So where would we find entertain? Where might we find entertain? Aiden, where might we find entertain?
And fiction books, and there's also another thing for entertain.
Okay.
It's to make you laugh.
Okay, you could also say to make you laugh. Okay. Aiden, you go ahead and mute yourself. All right. So to tell you a story, to keep your attention, to make you laugh. And it is mostly found in fiction. But I will tell you that entertain, it can be found in fiction, which remember, we have a fiction tree, right? So fiction can also be poetry. It could be our fairy tales that we talked about. It could be our fables that we talked about, right? It could be all of that different kind of stuff. It could also be realistic fiction that we've talked about before, okay? So entertain is all fiction wrapped up in a bow, okay? Because when you're reading fiction, it's probably not going to be giving you facts. When you're looking for inform, you're looking for facts. When you're looking at fiction or entertain, you're looking at it is telling you a story. It is trying to make you laugh. It is trying to keep your attention. Got it? Okay. Yes, Ali.
I've read a fiction book where it's like at the end, they actually tell you facts.
Well, that's cool. Well, for the most part, though, it's going to end up being fiction, though, right? Because it probably was mostly fiction, and it probably just gave you short little facts at the end for fun. Yes, Aiden.
At the beginning of the day, I wanted to type in the chat for what I want. So can I type that in the chat?
In a minute. Let's finish our lesson, okay? Because we're not done with our lesson.
Okay.
Let's finish our lesson. Thank you, Aiden. All right. So we are going to be looking at Arthur's Purpose with our poetry. So here's our poem for today. This is the one that I am going to model for you. And then I will have one that is, and then I have one that we are going to do together. So this one, I picked this one out because I thought it was kind of funny. It is called Sick. Okay. So remember, before I read this, I'm doing my poetry basics. I go wait till I'm done with the poem. Before I do this, I'm going to do my poetry basics. Okay. So remember, I'm going to model for you first. So right now you're just listening. Ali, you can help me with the next one. Right now you're just listening. Okay. So I'm going to circle my title and read it. So this is sick. Okay. Then I need to number my lines. Okay, then I'm going to number my stanzas. All right, then I'm going to read the poem. Don't breathe next to me. You might get me sick. Your nose is so red that it looks like a brick. Your eyes are all puffy. You're sneezing a lot. I'm leaving the room. I don't want what you've got. Don't cough when I'm here. You might pass it on. For goodness sakes, cover your mouth when you yawn. And don't touch my food, lest your cooties adhere, thus making me sick for the rest of the year. The last thing I need is a cold or a flu, and so I'm thinking I'll bid you adieu. I'm much better off wherever you're not. Don't breathe next to me. I don't want what you've got. All right, so now that I've read the poem, I'm going to go through and circle my rhyming words. So I'm looking at me. Let's see. None of these rhyme. Now I'm going to look at sick and brick, right? Those rhyme. Then I'm going to look at the next one. A lot and got. On and yawn. Adhere and year. Flew and I'll bid you adieu. And then not and got, right? So I have my rhyming words. Now I'm going to think about the poem and write it down. So this is obviously about someone who does not want to get sick, right? This is about someone who does not want to get sick. Pretty short and simple. This is about someone who does not want to get sick. So now I'm going to think author's purpose, right? Because that's what we just talked about. What was the reason behind my author writing this? Was it to persuade me of something? Was it to convince me of something? No, right? This is about someone who doesn't want to get sick. It's not about that. Was it to inform? Was it giving me facts? No, it wasn't giving me facts, right? It wasn't telling me anything important. Was it entertaining? Was it to keep my attention and make me laugh? Yeah, right? Because it kept saying, you might get me sick, your nose looks like a brick, and I thought that was funny. So this is definitely going to be to entertain. So the reason my author wrote this is to entertain. My author wanted to tell me a good, funny story about a boy who didn't want to get sick, okay? All right, let's look at the next poem, and I am going to need your help. Okay, let's look at the next poem, and I'm going to need your help. All right, who can help? What's the first thing I need to do? Who can help? What's the first thing I need to do?
Circle the title.
Oh, make sure you raise your hand. Make sure you raise your hand. Camila, what's the first thing I need to do?
Circle the title.
Circle the title and read it. So this is called Raking Leaves. Raking leaves. What's the next thing I need to do? Kason.
How many sentences are there?
Number the lines, right? In stanzas. How many lines are there? Show me with your fingers. How many lines are there? There's 12, right? There's 12. There's 12 lines. Good job. All right, how many stanzas are there? Show me with your fingers. How many stanzas? Show me with your fingers. There are 3. Good job to all my friends that showed me a 3. There are 3. All right, so what's the next thing I need to do, Bella?
Read the poem.
Read the poem. All right, so I'm going to read the poem. Raking leaves. I raked the leaves on our front lawn. It took all afternoon. I started at around 1:30 and said I'll be done soon. But once I saw once I saw how more leaves fell each time I made a pile, I quickly saw this outdoor chore was going to take a while. And so I did what my dad said a winner does to win. I studied that great pile of leaves and then I jumped right in. So what do I need to do next? Raiden, what do I need to do next?
Circle the rhyming words.
Circle the rhyming words. So who can help me? What are some rhyming words in this poem? What are my rhyming words, Emily?
Afternoon and soon.
Afternoon and soon. It's another set of rhyming words. Aiden.
It's like it's on number 1.
Okay, I already did my rhyming words for stanza number 1. So now I'm looking at stanza number 2 and 3.
No, there's another one. It's
No, there's
one.
no more.
It's one and done.
Nope. Remember, it has to be at the end of the sentence. It has to be at the end of the line for it to rhyme.
While pile.
While and pile. All right, what about the last stanza? Stanza number 3. Stanza number 3. Bella.
When and in.
When and in. When and in. All right, and then what's the last thing I need to do? Ollie, what's the last thing I need to do?
Think about your poem and write.
Think and write about my poem. So what is this about? What is this about?
It's about someone doing an outdoor chore, raking the leaves when the
Okay.
trees keep when the leaves keep falling from the trees each time he made a pile.
So this is about a boy who is raking leaves and decides to jump in. All right. So make sure you're muted. Make sure you're muted. Oh, wrong thing. So what is my author's purpose for this poem? What is my author's purpose? Why did my author write this poem? Why did my author write this poem? Aiden, why did my author write this poem?
To entertain.
To entertain, right? What's my reasoning behind it? What's my why? What's the why? Someone else besides Aiden. Hold on. Someone else besides Aiden, because I've heard a lot from Aiden. Someone else besides Aiden. Someone I haven't heard from. What's the why? Why is it to entertain? Why is my author doing that? Why does my author want it? Why is my author entertaining me? How is he entertaining me? Emily, how is he entertaining me?
By making a short, funny poem.
By making a short, funny poem. And what else? He's doing what? He's doing what? He's doing what, Camila?
Telling a story.
The story.
Telling me a story about this boy who wants to jump in the leaves. Good job. All right. So remember, when you're doing author's purpose for your poetry, it is really, really, really important. And not even poetry. This actually applies to everything that we do. It is really, really, really important that you give me a reason why. Don't just tell me that it's to entertain. Don't just tell me it's to inform. Don't just tell me it's to persuade. You have to make sure you give me a reason why. Why did the author write the book or the poem or the story or whatever it is? Because they didn't write it because they wanted to. They did it for a reason. So tell me the reason and then give me the why. All right, so that is it